Hello friends, how are you? Good morning from a brisk morning here in California. It's a beautiful day. Praying that you all are well. I know it's been a minute and I wanted to do a quick tutorial now because I won't have time later. I will be on grandma duty for 3 months starting end of May, so I won't be having a whole lot of craft time. So I'm going to show you this tutorial. I was DM'd and asked if I would do one, and so here it is. These were prayer journals that I created, and they're in my Etsy shop. And I wanted something small I can keep in my bag, compact, something that you can write down some thoughts. And so I created this little journal that you can add to an existing journal if you want to add more real estate to your books or your journals. But this is what I made here, and I made this using one sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. So I know you all have stashes of papers and you don't know what to do with these. This would be great. As I mentioned in previous videos, I didn't invent this. This is something that's been around forever. There's a million of YouTube videos, and I kind of just play with some ideas, and I thought, well, let me make this. So I'm going to show you. You're going to need one 8.5 by 11 paper, and I already pre-cut it to save time. And what you want to do is on the 8.5 inch side, you want to cut it at 4 1/4, so that'll give you 2 sheets. Then you're going to rotate your paper and cut it at 5 1/2. You'll use up the entire paper and you'll get these 4 squares. Okay, so this works out really well. I have extra paper from projects or my scraps that I used before that I'm going to use for this project to create pockets and tuck spots for this. What you'll need is a sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper, some washi tape. I didn't have any washi tape, so I got some from Amazon, and this one was I think it was like $9 for all of these rolls. There's not a whole lot on the rolls. I don't know much about washi tapes, but I do know that you need to use the wider one. Don't use the thin one, and you'll see why in just a moment. Or you don't have to even go washi tape route. You can go masking tape. It's pretty much the same thing. I got 2 rolls of masking tape for, I think it was $5.99 on Amazon. This will last me a while. So you can use masking tape. You don't have to buy the expensive stuff. And what you're going to do is once you've cut the paper, you are going to use one at a time. And this is a heavier cord. You've seen me use this paper on other projects here. So I'm going to tear a strip of washi tape, of masking tape. And I am going to attempt to place half of it on the paper and half of it will be off. And you'll see why in just a moment. So I like this one because it's got like a line, and I kind of use it as a gauge marker, a ruler, if you will. So I'm going to peel this off. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to add my other paper. You're going to grab another paper that you cut, and you're going to line it up at the bottom, okay? And I'll explain why I'm going to do this in a moment, okay? And then you're going to fold this over, press down, and then you're going to cut your excess. Of course, this is too much because I can't eyeball this to save my life apparently, but that's okay. Okay. And you can, I'm not going to save these. Some people will save them and use them when they're using their embossing machines for folders, embossing folders. And so now you have this. The reason why I don't lay the paper flat like this and then add the masking tape on top, if you do it this way, you're not going to have that easy bend on your paper. It's going to be so tight that it's going to create it a little bit lumpier on the spine, if you will, or on the gusset. So by doing it while it's folded, you have this nice fold. It lays flat, and you have the space in between that allows you the space to be able to close this flat. So now I'm going to cut another piece of washi tape, and I'm going to attach the next sheet of paper, so approximately half. And I don't know how this is going to turn out because I just don't know. And then I'm going to flip this over, okay? And so now I'm going to add my paper. The sticky side is on this side. I'm going to fold this and put it on the folded half. Again, make sure that it's even around the edges, okay? And then I'm going to bend, or not bend, fold over my washi tape. Sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera. And so now I'm going to cut the excess on both ends. Okay. And then we're going to open it. Okay, so now you have this. What you need to be doing, which I should have done earlier, and my apologies, is you're going to add tape on both sides of your project. This will give it a nice, firm, a more stable spine, if you will. And so you're going to cut the ends off of this here. And usually washi tape, you know, doesn't have like the strongest of adhesion to your projects. So if you're going to use washi tape, you can use adhesive if you want, a wet glue. But what I am going to do, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to mat on top. So I'm going to mat on top of the tape. That way it'll secure the tape or your washi tape better to your project. I'm going to cut another piece of tape and do the same thing and go over. So every fold, every spine, if you will have tape on it. Okay, and this is why I don't use the thinner washi tape, because once you fold it, it's gonna open up. It's not gonna stay sealed. So that's my reasoning for the wider washi tape. Okay, and so now you're gonna fold on your lines, and it's going to be a Z fold type. Now we're gonna go ahead and add tape to our last piece of our third piece. So we have one more piece to adhere. And so I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. And I wanted to cover the edges. I want to make sure I get to the edge, okay, because I want it all to be nice and clean. And so I'm gonna put my my paper. Oh Lord, I don't know how to, I forget. I'll do it this way. Never mind, I'm just thinking out loud. And so I'm gonna put this even. I'm not gonna cover my line. I'm not gonna go over my crease, because if I go over it, it's not gonna bend. So stay just underneath the fold line on this side, but even all the way around, okay? And so then I'm gonna go ahead and fold my washi tape, and I'm gonna cut this here. And that previous end didn't go all the way to the end, but that's okay because it's gonna be matted or inked. Okay, and that's it. Okay. So now you can, oh, I did this one wrong. That's okay, should have been a white side. Ay, 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 but it doesn't matter. This is just demonstration purposes. So now I'm gonna do the Z fold or the Constantine fold. There's so many names for these. So I'm just gonna go over these, and this is heavier weighted cardstock, so it's a little bit thicker. You can add at this point, what I really wanted was to make sure that both the front and the back had a design paper. I didn't want it white, so I'm glad that the whites are more on the end pieces, which is great. So at this point, you can, if you had double-sided paper, you don't need to mat this if you don't want to, but I'm going to mat it, not necessarily the cover, but the insides. At this point is where you would add your ribbon if you wanted a ribbon closure, because you want to put your ribbon first before you lay your matted paper on top, and then same thing on the back. So you would add a ribbon on both sides, or if you want to add a magnet, you can have a magnetic closure. You can do whatever you want. With the excess paper that I have in my scraps, I'm going to probably cut these at a diagonal and create pockets for these, or I can just do a strip and do a belly band type tuck spot in here, or you can use it as a tag once you made a pocket. Whatever you want to do, you can use. This is a simple, easy way to use up scraps. If you have cards, you can use cards, but I say use your scraps. It's something fun, something quick, something you can mass produce very quickly. So that's my tutorial on my prayer pocket journal that I created out of one sheet of 8.5 by 11. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't tell you when the next tutorial will come up or when I'll post next, but I'll do my best to put some content as often as I possibly can. You all take care, be blessed. Until next time, bye.